Now the while loop is similar to the for loop in that it lets you repeatedly execute a series of commands, okay? The difference is that while a for loop does it for a defined number of times that you set, okay, the while loop will do it until a certain condition is met. Okay, now the syntax for a while loop is not dissimilar. We write while instead of for, and then obviously here instead of setting the number of times, we set when this condition is true, okay, and then we run our commands, okay, and then we end it with a end. Now it's given us an error because obviously it doesn't really understand what I'm writing, but that's basically the way that works. So if I make a new script, okay, we're going to say, do a simple example. So we're going to create a while loop, okay, and then we're going to set our condition. Now obviously what I'm going to do is I'll define x equals to be 1 outside. I'll talk about that in a minute. When we're saying while x is less than 10, okay, we want to display x and x plus x equals x plus 1. So we increment up x. Okay, we'll put a colon after that command. And we end. Okay, so what this is doing is on line 1, we initialize, we assign for the first time a value of 1 to the variable x. Okay, and this is outside the while loop. As firstly, x is used as a condition for the loop to run. Okay, so it needs to know what x is, because in this line here, we need to have defined what x is before it can actually work out that condition. Okay, and on line 4, x is used in an equation. So again, a value needs to be defined. So because we've got x in this equation, we need to know as the loop runs for the first time, what that value of x is going to be. So here the while loop starts, okay, in this line here, and the condition of x less than 10 is specified as the logical expression. Okay, so we're checking that x has a value of less than 10, and if that's the case, then the loop will run. Obviously, if x is going to be equal or greater than 10, then the loop will not run. As soon as x fails to meet this condition at the start of the iteration, okay, when it's 10 or greater, the loop will stop running and MATLAB will continue with any commands that come after the loop. Okay. This line just simply displays the current value of x, okay, and this one will add 1 to x, and then it will re-go the command. So we've got x equals 1. X is going to be less than 10 when it's 1, so it displays 1, and then it's going to add 1 to that previous value of x. Okay, so when the second time runs, x will be 2. So again, it continues to be less than 10, so x is 2, x equals x plus 1, obviously that will then be 3, and then it runs around 3 is less than 10, and so on and so forth. And it will stop when it gets to 9. It should 9 equals x plus 1, which will be 10, and that will therefore no longer meet that condition, and the loop will stop. Okay, so if we run this, if we save this, okay, I'll just call this a while example. Okay, and we run it. Okay, so there we go. So we've got in our command window, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see that that's the output that it's given us. Now you can make a loop that will accidentally run for an infinite number of times. So, for example, if I made the mistake of saying 1x is greater than 0, run this loop. Clearly, when this loop runs, it'll always be greater than 0. So you end up with a command that will run infinitely. And to stop that, you press Control C, and that will terminate the command.